Thanks for joining us for the KOHO 101 Community Connection Podcast, a look at business in the greater Wenatchee area.
It's the KOHO Morning Show. It's great to have you with us on this edition of the program. Another excellent installment from the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce for our Community Connections podcast series is on the way to you now as a part of the program today. And of course, that brings to our studios Shiloh Burgess, the Executive Director of the Chamber. And today we have special guest Bill Mickelson in the house. Bill is the owner of the Igloo. You might know it as the Igloo Blank, but you can actually forget about the match game antics because it's just the Igloo. Bill's going to explain the namesake to us of a longstanding bar here in the Wenatchee Valley, and a great place for a lot of locals to hang out still, of course. And Shiloh, Bill, it's great to have you here. Thanks.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So Shiloh, the Igloo, I mean, we were talking before we got started here on the air about Bill's, he's the first one in line to pay those chamber fees every year, it sounds like, and there's a good reason why.
Yeah, he doesn't want to forget, which is a great business practice. No, it's amazing. Igloo, we were just talking, is 77 years strong. The last time Bill and I actually got to be together was for the chamber banquet pre-COVID, when they were our bar sponsor that night. And so it's fun to have them as part of our legacy series today. And we're hoping to learn a lot more about that history. So tell us that. Where did it all begin, Bill?
Began March 17th, 1944. My uncle and a gentleman named Al Keating bought the Igloo. They were not ready to open, but the front door didn't work. They took it off the hinges, and people started coming in. They didn't know how to pour a beer. They didn't have change, but away they went. And later on, my uncle was L.H. O'Neill. He was nicknamed Neil, but he bought out the partner, so it's basically been in the family since 1944. I was born in 1949, and then my cousin was there in 1972 to 1995, Ron O'Neill. And myself and my wife, Donna, and my son, Keith, run the place now. But pretty much everybody in the family has work there.
Family owned and operated.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
So is it that lack of a front door that gave it the moniker, the Igloo, then?
No, the original shape of the building was originally about a quarter the size it is now. The original shape resembled an igloo, is the best my guess. But there's been additions to the roofs, there's been additions to the back, there's been additions to the pool room, so it no longer resembles an igloo.
It's still Washington State's only igloo as far as I know. I mean, not literally, but obviously by namesake.
Yeah.
So.
And we're not the cooler company.
No, an igloo in the desert that's lasted this long. How does Bill do it? Now we're getting into some of the secrets here today.
But anyhow, it's been around a long time. We're fortunate enough that we had that. At one time, the building, the front part was across the street. It was over where the motel and what's going to be the medical place. It was moved across the street, just the front part. And then it's been built on to since then. But it gives us adequate parking. We're fortunate to have a good crew, so people come in for that. We keep it clean, and I call it a comfortable old shoe. It's not brand new by any means. The only thing that's brand new is the walk-in. During the closure, we renovated the walk-in. We took it completely out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Completely out, clear to dirt. And there's new floor, new walls, new ceiling. The refrigeration is renovated, new shelving, new stainless steel shelving. It's a brand new room in an old building.
Wow. So the Igloo is colder than ever, it sounds like.
So,
what we found was incredible.
We don't need to get into that, I think.
No. But I mean, it's insulated now, so you can have a cold room that's cold.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Awesome.
no, worst parts were, like the floor. It was starting to show its age. You can only handle so many 150-pound kegs before you start feeling a little fatigued.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I bet it looks great. And, again, if I guess the floors, we were talking earlier about if the walls could talk, and we'll maybe return to that as far as the patronage is concerned. But, even if some of the cooler walls or the old floor could talk, the things that it's seen over the years.
It's seen enough beer it would float a battleship.
Yeah, and help one cruise across the open seas, too, when there's nothing to do, I imagine, up on deck. Bill, you were talking to me and Shiloh as well before we got started here about the fact that a lot of people still call it the Igloo Tavern, but that is not a designation that you are legally allowed to give it. So explain to us the difference between a tavern and a bar.
Well, when we added alcohol, we had to to delete the tavern name. So we went from the Igloo Tavern to just the Igloo. And then on the tax side of it, it shows the Igloo Inc. because it is a corporation. But it's still used very, very frequently. So I have no problem with somebody calling it Igloo Tavern. And I still, when I leave home, I'm going to the tavern. Well,
Yeah.
technically it's not. It's
Okay.
It's the Igloo. It's a bar. But when I write the checks, there's never a tavern on it.
Okay, so so to everybody else in Ubiquity, it's fine that it's still the tavern. It's just it's just the government folks that take offense to that title for whatever reason. So, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and it works out pretty well.
So I have to know, as iconic as the idea of the igloo is the igloo sign. So where are the origins of the sign?
It was built by Red Sign Shop in the late 60s. I remember seeing the designs for it on the dining room table, and Red Sign Shop built it and installed it. It used to be further to the expanded the road. It got moved to right next to the building. It's
expanded the road. I mean, talk about how long it's been around. I mean, we're used to that spur being exactly what it has been for years. But again, that was not always that many lanes. So.
Yes, it was not. There's additional lanes now. But that sign has been photographed many, many times. You'll see somebody pull in off of the road, and they'll take a picture.
My crew stood right beneath it for our holiday celebration. We had to make sure we got a picture. It's like Wenatchee's Las Vegas sign.
Well, and they're a rare breed. I mean, signs that even aren't working that you see out in Route 66 and things of that nature in Old Americana, they're still iconic because they just don't exist anymore. This one not only works, you just had it renovated.
I just had it renovated. It just recently got painted. It got a complete paint job. All the light bulbs work. It has the original inscription on when it was built and the technical electrical stuff. And the painter did not paint over that. He said, "I painted everything except that."
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That was great of him to leave the specs from the old days.
I make sure that thing stays working. But there is two signs. There's the Igloo Arrow. And then to the west, on the north wall, there's the sign that shows chicken, seafood, and sandwiches. Yeah. But when the text was put together, there wasn't a comma between the words. So we have customers, non-locals, that come in. What's a chicken seafood sandwich? I was tempted to have the sign painter, will you please put in 2 commas? But what's a chicken seafood sandwich?
That just leads you to the stories, right? Which does lead me back to your question of if those walls could talk. Dot. Answer that question for me, Bill.
Yeah, we've started a lot of marriages. Yes, I was telling them earlier that we had 3 barmaids in a row that when they came to work for us within pretty much a short time, they all married one of our customers. And one of the guys I've known for, probably at least 40 years, he married one of our bartenders. She's not one of those 3 I'm talking about. She's way back there. But anyhow.
That's awesome. So Igloos is a place where you can go to find love, to find friends, to find, what's the most popular?
Chicken swimming in the sea that have been caught and freshly battered for your sandwich.
How about the top selling beverage?
Of course, it's Coors Light.
Coors Light
Draft. Coors Light Draft. We go through about 3 kegs of that a week, and that's an awful lot.
And Bill, you mentioned something, speaking of things that literally swim in the sea, that you just added to the menu over there as a really hot seller?
Halibut. We have halibut and fries. For $11, 3 pieces of halibut and fries. If you want to have a 4th piece, you get it for $14. Wow. And it's a new product, and it's going very, very well. They're all eating halibut and fries now.
Wow. Yeah, and I've been actually to Alaska a couple of times where they actually serve the halibuts caught right there. It's more expensive than that, so you're sourcing it obviously from Alaska, and it's cheaper here. So
I keep my food prices down. There's a variety of income sources.
Sure.
So I don't need to make it all in one place. I don't need to make it in the realm of the food. It's the whole mix, like my cousin said, like Ron O'Neill said years ago, you need the jukebox, you need the pool tables, you need the pull tabs, you need the beer, you need check cashing,
It's like that soup with the great mixture of ingredients, right? That's what makes it all makes it's your own version of minestrone. There you go.
Wedding soup, depending on the customers that day, I guess.
It's fantastic.
But I try to keep prices low. I said I'd rather serve it than store it, so people will come back.
Well, it's a sterling deal on the halibut and chips for sure. So.
Oh, yeah.
Talking with Bill Mickelson today. He's the owner of the Igloo. You might know it as the Igloo Tavern, which is totally fine, just not if you're a person collecting a check from Bill for the IRS or something of that nature. We talked about that earlier. Again, in case you missed that part of our discussion, want to hear it again, it's online, and you can download this any place that you download your favorite podcasts. Also at our website, KOHO101.com, and links at the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce's website as well, as this is part of our Community Connections podcast series, a special series in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. There's Shiloh Burgess is here. She's the executive director. So, Bill, one of the old sayings, I guess, that I have, if I can say I have old sayings at this point in my life, at least in this business, one of the things I've learned or feel like I've learned is that no matter what people do for a living or a trade, life is about people at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether you salt crackers for a living or work in machinery and you never see anybody or hardly anybody, or you do something like you do where you're around thousands of people literally a month, different people even at that, especially at high season. So it doesn't matter what you do. Life is about people. That having been said, are people still the same as they used to be 43 years ago when you started? Are they still talking about the same thing? I mean, does the bar still bombulate with the same types of conversations that it used to, or has it changed over the years?
A lot of it is the same. The fishermen are still talking about fishing.
They better be. Bringing you that halibut.
Yeah. The fishermen are talking about that. And then, of course, we've always catered to various industries around the valley. Treetop employees come in. They'll talk work once in a while. But, a lot of people talk about the same things, and work is, of course, always a topic.
Sports, politics, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. We try to avoid politics.
I would hope so, but people talk about it.
Unfortunately, I tend to be one of the worst offenders on politics. But I know after a certain...
you run a bar, so...
After a certain hour, I shut my mouth. But I got a few customers I could, be upfront with. Yeah, I don't want to...
In general, you could walk into the Igloo today and hear people talking about the same things that they did in 1975.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Very, very,
I have
very
to
much
know,
so.
we think of the people. I mean, like, is it like Cheers? Are there places
absolutely.
you don't sit or you avoid certain times of the day?
Absolutely. You can almost set your watch by some people. One day, one of my customers looked around and he said, "Stan, he's not here." And I looked at my watch and give him 10 minutes. He was there in 10 minutes. He was there. He was there so frequently on the floor. Serious. He wore a hole in the tile. We'd never throw anything away at the Igloo. Out in the shed, I found part of a case of the original tile. So 3 tiles where he sat are brand new. 3 tiles where the other guy talking to him are brand new because
they wore through the floor.
Stan's groove. Huh?
Yeah. But anyhow,
my goodness.
So this has been great. I imagine people are going to want to come visit you at the Igloo. So what are your hours of operation? I mean, when can they come down and get that halibut and that Coors Light or something else and see the friends?
After the closure, we were at first doing 2 to 10. Now, as of about a week ago, we've gone to 11 o'clock opening. So we're open at 11 in the morning, and we close at night whenever the majority of the people are gone, or when it's empty. Bartenders go home. But 11 a.m. is our opening time. On Sunday, it's noon, and it's all working out pretty well. Yeah.
Bill, you were written up in the Business Journal recently, too. I know you wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yes, very fortunate on that. It was an initial interview about a year ago, and they touched up the interview, and it came out with a 2.5-page write-up on the Igloo. So there's pictures, there's some of the history, very kind of awesome. I'll have a copy there for people to read. We have a number of those articles over the years, some going back to when my uncle's wife was still alive, and there was a picture of the 3 of us, Regina O'Neill, Ron O'Neill, and myself in the Business Journal. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a part of the Wenatchee Valley for 77 years, and Bill, you've been there for 43, so...
Yes.
So how many more you got? What are you thinking?
It's got to get shorter. I'm tiring.
Yeah.
But I'm still there 7 days a week, just not all day. And one of my customers said, "What do? You show up an hour, you leave, show up an hour, you leave?" Well, yeah. I go home and I take a nap. I eat lunch. Yeah. one of the help the other day said, I wish I could go home and take a nap.
Well, we hope you're there for as long as you want to be.
Yep.
And maybe even make it to 50 years.
Yeah.
But you've been a part of its history, its heritage for over half of its lifetime. So
over half.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool thing to say for sure.
And who would have thought in 1944 in March, when they were trying to replace that door, that here, nearly 77 years later, the multiple generations that have gone by would consider it a historic landmark of our community, someplace where visitors want to go, locals love, it's theirs, it's a gathering place, and it's a big part of the fabric of this community. So thank you for having a legacy building and keeping it going and sharing it with us. And I do hope you write that book.
Yeah, we'll help you, Bill.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But yeah, we are an icon in the community. It's well recognized. And every now and then I'll run into somebody that, I've never been there. Come on in.
Yes, I love that. Come on in.
Absolutely. Come on into the Igloo.
Yeah, but we keep the trouble out. We keep it clean. Everybody says, it's the cleanest place I've been in. Yeah, it is.
Well, there's a reason why it's been there for so long and been in the family's hands for so long, too.
Yeah.
Well, during that first closure, we spent about 1,000 hours cleaning and renovating. We were busy every single day during that first 3 months.
Took full advantage of it.
Oh, yeah. It was rather expensive, but, it added substantially to the life of that building, especially like the walk-in floor. We were going to lose a keg through it someday, because you can't drop those 150-pound kegs without causing a dent. So,
well, you're ready for another 77 years.
Oh, yeah. It's got a concrete floor now. It's got nice... Every fixture in the place is now LED. It'll be years before we have to do any of the electrical.
Wow.
It's
and the signs never looked better. So you truly are ready for 7 more decades.
This is the second time I've had it painted. I don't know what would happen before me, but this is the second time I've had it totally painted. If there's ever any repair needed, it gets done. And can I give Graybill Signs
Sure.
Heads up?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they're helping you out with the sign when you need it.
They're the ones that maintain it for me. They show up and they painted it. This is the second time. They've replaced the light bulbs multiple times. And the one guy that was here this last time, he remembered that I had to special order some fuses because there was a fuse that was out. Do you have any fuses left? Yep. Come here. But he had been there before. He knew I had the fuses. It got done on the spot.
Wow. So legacy businesses handing down work to legacy businesses in the Valley, it sounds like.
Wonderful.
So, very cool.
It works very well.
Thank you. That's all I have to say. Maybe I should say cheers. I'm not sure which.
There you go. Cue the Gary Portnoy. I'm like the only guy who knows who sings that song, but where everybody knows your name. That'd be the Igloo, and you can still call it the Igloo Tavern, of course, if you'd like. Bill Mickelson's their owner. 43 years at the Igloo 77 years old as of 2001, and a longstanding member of not only the Chamber of Commerce, but also of the Wenatchee Valley, as you mentioned, Bill, a local landmark. So, Bill, I really appreciate your taking some time out today to come talk to us on our Community Connections podcast series, and we'll look for you at the Igloo. I got to try that halibut, so you'll see me over there soon.
Okay, thank you very, very much.
Well, we really appreciate it. And Shiloh, thanks a lot for arranging this and for everything the Chamber's doing as far as this segment's concerned. We are grateful very much for it.
We're excited to keep the good times rolling.
Yeah,
right.
And as a last thing, you and my son were in the same high school class?
Yes. He's a couple years older than me, but we palled around together in high school for sure.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, this is better for an off-air. Now we're getting into the high school who palled around with Shiloh Burgess conversation. This is definitely the mics need to go off for this.
That could be one of your morning questions. I don't know if I want to hear the answer to that, but...
Bill Mickelson, Shiloh Burgess, I appreciate the time very much. Again, this is part of our Community Connections podcast series. You can download it any place that you download your favorite podcast. It's also at our website, KOHO101.com, and at the Chamber's website for a link there for a download as well. Also, we do these as part of our KOHO Morning Show roundup for you every couple of weeks now. We'll be doing so for several months in the future. So, Bill, Shiloh, again, thanks so much. Best wishes to both of you. And Shiloh, I know we'll see you again soon. And Bill, I will see you soon for some halibut, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This is the KOHO 101 Community Connection Podcast. Check back often for a continuing look at business in the greater Wenatchee area.